start again.
Have you been videoing us?
I am now.
What?
All right, so the food web question on page 82. Okay, it wasn't videoing, now we've got it. So question 5.1, the shortest food chain. Phytoplankton, krill, blue whale. You write it out, not like me. Phytoplankton, arrow, krill, blue whale. All right, well, blue whale. Arrows going away from the food. And then you were asked for the longest one. There are two. Phytoplankton, zooplankton, fish, seagull, leopard seal, killer whale. Or this side, seaweed, crab, squid, penguin, leopard seal, killer whale. Okay? All right, so now the next part. From the food web above, identify each of the following. Can I rub this off?
Yes.
Okay, we need two predators of penguins. Two predators of penguins. Who preys on penguins?
Leopard seal and killer whale.
Sorry, killer whale and? Leopard seal and? Is that it?
Yeah,
Yes.
me and Sue, huh?
Only two. There are only two. Huh? There and there. Okay. Any two herbivores?
Crab and krill.
Crab and?
Krill.
Krill and?
You only need two.
Okay, but what about naming all of them? Zooplankton and? What about the fish when it's feeding on phytoplankton?
But ma'am, it's still not a
Isn't that an
herbivore.
omnivore?
If it's feeding on phytoplankton, it's a herbivore.
And it's also feeding on zooplankton.
Yeah, okay. Alright, we can leave that one out if you don't like it because it's an omnivore. That's fine. Okay? So, C, two carnivorous mammals. Two carnivorous mammals. First of all, who's a mammal? Sorry? Who's a mammal? Blah, blah, blah. I can't hear you through the mask.
A seagull.
A mammal.
Leopard seal.
Leopard seal.
Seal.
Who else is a mammal? A killer whale.
Elephant seal.
Elephant seal.
Blue whale.
Blue whale. So any of those. Two carnivorous mammals. They are mammals that are carnivores. Two autotrophs. Two autotrophs. Okay, so that's question D. Autotrophs. Alright, next one. A crustacean that is a herbivore. Alright, hang on. Who are crustaceans? What? Can we put our hands up, please? Yes.
The two crustaceans there are crabs and krill.
And krill, and maybe some of the phytoplankton, but those are quite big, and you get smaller ones in zooplankton, sorry. So, a crustacean that is a herbivore. Question E.
Crab or the krill.
Or the krill, because they're both feeding on plants. Yes. Okay. Next one. F. A bird that is a tertiary consumer. Now, tertiary consumer is not a producer. Here are our producers. Tertiary. So you get primary, secondary, tertiary. Primary, I'm just writing one little circle. That's my abbreviation for primary, not yours. I'm saving time. Secondary and?
Tertiary.
So who must I put the three next to? A bird that is a tertiary consumer. Penguin or primary, secondary, tertiary, the seagull. Okay. So, producer, the primary consumer is a herbivore, secondary is a carnivore, and then the tertiary is another carnivore. You must be able to do that. Alright, next one, an omnivore. Only the fish, okay, because it feeds on plankton and krill. Feeds on both. All three. Okay. Shh. Oi. Quiet. Any three heterotrophs. So let's make it easier. Which are not heterotrophs? For question number H. Everyone except?
The seaweed and the phytoplankton.
Okay, so H, you can't choose those two, but you can choose anything else. Then, a carnivore, so now we're not looking at, like question F, a bird that is a tertiary consumer. We're saying a carnivore that is at the 4th trophic level. So what's at the 1st trophic level?
Seaweed.
A plant, a seaweed. So trophic level 1, 2, 3, and it says a carnivore at the 4th trophic level. So it could be elephant seal or penguin. And this side, trophic level 1, 2, who could it be?
The seagull.
Seagull, that's trophic level 4. And if we go this way, same. And this
Elephant
is
seal as well.
1, 2, oh, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, there. If you go that route.
And
Got
it
it?
also goes on the quills. Oh no, wait, never mind.
No, there it won't work, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th trophic level, which is the same as the 2nd carnivore in the chain.
Phytoplankton, krill, fish.
Oh yeah, fish.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, are we happy?
Yeah.
All right. Then, 3 organisms at the 2nd trophic level.
So, zooplankton.
Crab.
Or crow.
Zooplankton, and that's trophic level 1, that's trophic level 2, so krill as well. So the last question, which is J, and yes,
And fish as well.
yes, because if you go that route, but we think it's an omnivore, hey, or we know it's an omnivore, yeah. Okay, so that's that page. So now the last part, the page 83. So please, when you get something like this, you know, go mad, all over it. All right, what would happen to the number of zooplankton if there was overfishing? If there's overfishing, what happens to the number of fish? Phones away. So the fish are going to decrease. What would happen to the zooplankton?
They would increase,
Why?
as there's no consumer after it. Because the consumer
They're not being consumed by the fish. Yes. So their numbers become higher because the fish numbers drop. You've got to say that, because what does overfishing mean? The fish numbers drop, therefore the zooplankton aren't being fed on as much and their numbers increase. You can't just have 2 words. Okay.
Yeah, then they die.
Yeah, then there would be less seagulls, less etc. Yeah, but that's not the question. Yes?
And then more
Wait,
elephants.
could you say that, sorry, if you phrase it like the number of zooplankton will increase because there will not enough fish to consume and we're going to overpopulation of fish.
Okay, guys at the back, shush, just hold on a second. The number of zooplankton would increase because?
Because there will not be enough fish to consume them to prevent overpopulation of zooplankton.
Yes. Okay, when I say please stop talking while someone's answering, that's kind of what I mean. Yes. Didn't get that one. Okay, question B. What would happen to the number of squid if all the killer whales were hunted? Ouch. Yes. Oh, your hand up. Okay, answer me. Question B, squid. Tell us.
Okay, so I said the number of squid will decrease because the number of its predators will increase. So more predators will eat the squid.
Who are the predators?
Predators are the penguin and the elephant seal.
Right. So if the penguin numbers will increase because they are not being consumed by the killer whale. They're not being preyed on by the killer whale. So therefore the number of squid will
Increase.
decrease because there's more
Penguins.
There's more predators.
predators. And name them. Penguins, elephant seals, feeding on them. Yes. Yeah, so it depends which, what part are you looking at that time. But if you've got a valid answer, fine. Okay. Question number C. Quiet. What will happen to other organisms if the phytoplankton increased in number due to global warming? So they are tiny little microscopic algae, and now because it's getting warm, my pool has gone green because all these little plankton are increasing number. So what will happen in the food web? Yes.
The other organisms would become overpopulated because the more phytoplankton, the more primary consumers.
Name them.
The more Okay, I didn't name them all, but then I said the more primary consumers, the more tertiary consumers.
Okay, so there would be an increase in, you try and name them. So in the next trophic level, there will be more zooplankton and fish and krill, therefore more food for the seagull. You can give a bit more, yes.
I'm good at bottom, please, ma'am.
Quickly, yes. All right. Okay, and the reason being, if there's lots of algae or phytoplankton, what does that serve as? What does this serve as?
Oxygen.
Okay, what does it serve as in a food web?
The food
Fruits.
Food, and also it's the beginning of a food chain, which we sometimes say is called the, rub that off now. It's the base of a food chain. It begins with autotrophic organisms. So then if there's obviously more food, then everybody else further up will increase in numbers. All right. Explain why food webs like this are more common in nature as opposed to just food chains. Somebody else, please. Who else is hiding behind their mask? Someone this side? Come on, last answer. Yes.
Okay, I'll take a shot now. Food chains, each organism occupies a different trophic level defined by, just like they're split into each energy transfer separated from the basic chain. So it's just separated into different levels. Whereas in food webs, food webs consist of many I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
Interconnected food chains and are more realistically represented by the relationships.
Okay, can you try and simplify that?
That was
So in a food chain, there's just a set number of
Okay.
what? No, that's
Levels.
trophic levels, but in a food web it shows
Many, multiple,
multiple who? Multiple
Organisms.
organisms feeding on each other depending on what?
What's
Available.
available?
There. Sorry, you?
Oh, I said never.
Sorry?
I said because most animals eat and are eaten by more than one type
Exactly.
of organism.
Depending on what's there. Do you only eat McDonald's? Wish you did. No, I don't.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay. All right. So there's a whole food web. You open the fridge. There's lots of stuff. Okay. All right, guys. Are we happy? All right. So that's how we do that. Oh, what I wanted to show. Have we seen the little video about Mr. W?
No.
All right. So let us watch the video, and then I'll explain something about the energy, amount of energy as it passes through the food chain.
Also, we haven't seen the whale video.
And switch to the lights, please. Okay. Quiet. Lights. Lights off. Somebody switch the lights off. Michael.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. I was explaining something.
Okay, people, let's watch. Hey,
It's a mess.
Michael, shush.
I didn't read
So,
I wasn't.
shush. So this is all about trophic levels, and I just want you to read the subtitles, and there's something there about energy, which I'll use later on just to explain something. All right, let's go. Shush.
Every time the calories, it shines up on the sun. The calories are green, the travel number only one. But every single calorie in ocean is a plane. So soon as the foundation for a living food chain. At the bottom of the food chain are producers like in plants. The cells make food from sunlight, making use of chloroplast. It happens in the plant of flowers on the root of cell. Every single grain must have a little chlorophyll. Well, the next bit of food chain is a primary consumer. An herbivore, a cow, or vegetarian baby boom. Primary consumer spends his mealtime eating plants. Might be a buffalo or might be an ham. Each level in a food chain yields only 10% of lower levels energy. You might as well. There are multiple means you can't suggest to really make it dent. And don't ignore the weight it costs to make about a grand. So if your friends are eating about 100
Okay,
calories,
sorry.
you're getting only beaten in the birdies and the bees. 700 calories in algae in the sea. Primary consumers equal you to 17. Some other ways of getting food are really out of sight. You can be a predator or be a parasite. The predator eats meat, the parasite at your size. And if you're a decomposer, you will be when I die.
Buffering.
Now let's pause.
How did it happen? Okay. Michael, what do you think?
And if you don't have the chicks, you can really take the cake. When energy is food doesn't laugh, nutrients, food chicks feed a very different space. They recycle and they circulate forever. Ain't that great? Just remember there's no beings in this world that live alone. Populations form communities where all to make their home. Will religion be determined in the role that you are playing? Every creature alive or dead is in the food chain.
Okay, so there's your earworm for the day.
Oh, wait,
Know what an
did you
earworm
say
is?
this to the
Ma'am, I
other
think it
class?
was so good that we need to watch it.
Okay, so he said quite a few things. The one thing that I don't want you to do, please don't put the sun here at the beginning of the food chain. It's not an organism. The energy is used from sunlight, energy is used so that plants can photosynthesize, but we do not write them as the base of the food chain. The other thing which I want to pick up on is that, you know, if there's 10,000 joules or calories, Americans talk about calories. If there's 10,000 joules of energy in the seaweed, how much of that gets passed on to the crab when the crab eats the seaweed? 10%, so 10% is 1,000. So now what happened to the other 9,000 joules of energy? Where did that go? Used by the seaweed. For what? And what is the move? Well, they move in the water, but it could be in animals. What else? No, it's a good one, but for animals. What else? What will the seaweed use energy for? It's a plant, so it's going to grow and get eaten and grow. All right. Then, how much energy will approximately pass on to the squid? 100 joules. Now, it's not a steadfast rule that it's exactly 10%, but on average, guys, I'm trying to videotape. On average, they have found in all food chains that on average 10% passes from one energy level to the next, trophic level to the next. So what was the energy, what happened to the other 900 joules here? What did the crab use it for?
Energy.
For what? To reproduce, to move. Okay? For its metabolism, muscles to work, chemical reactions, all of that.
Wouldn't it also need to grow?
And to grow, yes. Okay. How much will pass on to the elephant seal? 10. How much will pass on to the killer whale? So, if you are a whale and you ride at the top there, there's the whale, and here is the seaweed. Alright? There's less and less energy going as you get to the end of the food chain. So that is why we use a pyramid to indicate that there's going to be fewer whales. If there were too many whales, then obviously it's going to affect the rest of the food chain, just like those questions just now. If there's too many whales, they're going to eat all the seals. If there's seals, then there's going to be too little squid, and so on and so on. Then the crabs will increase in number. Then the seaweed will not, there won't be enough. All right, so on average about 10% gets passed on from one trophic level to the next. Your homework, people, on Netflix, if you have Netflix, please go and watch. I don't know if we talked about this.
I watched this with my sister. It was so cute.
I started watching it yesterday. I watched 16 minutes and I had to pull myself away because I still had to go and moderate matric papers. All right, it's really good. It talks about how they interact and behave. Yes? Okay, let's move on. Yes? Okay, I cannot hear. She's at the front.
So you start with seaweed, but if there's more animals in the food web and like it decreases, I don't know if you heard what I'm saying.
If the seaweed decreases?
No, so by the time, because you got to whales, got to 1.
Yes.
Let's say there's another animal above whale.
Yeah.
What would they get?
0.10.
Yeah, but then that means that they have to eat lots and lots. So if let's just stop here and say killer whales would have to eat lots of these, or whoever's eating the whales would need to eat lots of whales because there's less energy available in the flesh because a lot of it, 10%, has been used by the whale or whoever to carry on with their normal daily lives. All right, so you don't, if you're at the end of the food chain, you've really got to spend a lot of energy hunting and then get enough food. So it's that whole sort of balance. Did we do the Kahoot?
No.
All right, so we'll do that now. The other classes have done it. Our next section, which is not in the cycle test, is population ecology. And this is where this is going to lead to. So I'm not going to start with that today. I'm going to do the Kahoot, and I will tape in this class again from population ecology on.